Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Sky. I hope you're having a lovely day, whatever you're doing. Um, yeah, I hope everything is going well. Before the episode starts, what's one thing that has lit up your soul this week? For me personally, my mum took me to a farm and I got to feed a cow, and it was honestly so cute. I love cows. They're so insanely cute. And that was gorgeous. So that lit up my soul. Anyway, and I just think it's nice to reflect on where we've been and how far we've come. Because that's something that's been very present for me currently. And just reflecting on how much has changed and also how much has changed in like this summer. So, yeah, because I think it's important when something goes right, not necessarily analyzing it, but analyzing how, well, yeah, I guess analyzing it, but just understanding what we did to get there. Because I think when we have moments of like, oh, I'm not sure if that will go well, I could feel like I can't do this, or just struggle, going back to moments when we felt successful, when we felt on top of the world, when we felt completely connected within ourselves, it's so helpful to go back to those moments and know what we did and how to get back there. Not get back there, but what we did back then to maybe help us spring forward, if that makes sense. So I was kind of just analyzing, and I was like, I really prioritized this summer not overwhelming myself. Whatever I did to not overwhelm myself, I did those things because I felt in the place where I could do that, and I felt that was something that I could handle. Not saying past summers that would even be something that was on my mind, but this summer it was, because I think that was the biggest thing for me, overwhelming myself, because I had so many exciting things going on. But it was like, how do I enjoy these things if I'm overwhelmed about the next thing? Or am I overwhelmed about like actually just enjoying the moment? And I think that's something that really was like playing in my head, because I think a lot of people can feel like it's a stress of like, oh, am I enjoying this enough? Like, oh, what's the next? Or like not enjoying the moment because you're worried about the next thing. You're like, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, next thing now. And I think that's something that I've always not always struggled with, but I've noticed patterns of myself being like, okay, that's fabulous, but like, what's the next thing I can do? Okay, I did that. Okay, well, now next time. And it's like, I'll tell like my family stuff that I've done, and they're like, that's really cool. Like, you like younger you wouldn't have like dreamed of doing that. I'm like, yeah. Okay, well, and I won't appreciate what I've done. And I think it's not even about like giving yourself like a week to like acknowledge it, but it's just about, if you don't acknowledge what you do, you can't appreciate your life, because your life is made up of moments that you have gotten yourself to. Your life is made up of moments where you have made choices to benefit yourself. Your life is made out of moments where you chose yourself. Your life is made out of moments of everything. Every single moment in your life, every single moment of your life, that is what your life is made out of. So if we don't appreciate the positive ones or the negative ones, but the really big moments where we really stepped up for ourselves, if we don't appreciate those, we're going to forget how we got to where we are today. And I think that can make us feel quite lost, because if we don't know how we got there, I guess that's quite scary, because it's like, when we feel lost, how do we know that we can get ourselves back up there? And I guess it's just self reassurance that we can carry, like we can still do those things. We can, we haven't gone backwards. And I think that's something I've always been unconsciously scared of, like going backwards, because I feel like this year it's been interesting. It's been absolutely phenomenal. It's been a phenomenal year. But there's been so many moments where I feel like I've gone backwards. So many moments where I feel like I've taken 10 years back, which is just not possible. And I've been really working on reassuring myself you really can't go backwards. And any moments in my life where I feel uncomfortable or I feel I'm going backwards, I'm actually just growing, because the backwards feeling is just feeling uncomfortable. And I analyzed how I felt when I felt like I was backwards. It was just uncomfortable. Like, I just felt awful. Like, I felt really unsettled within myself, and I remember feeling like that in the past. So my brain automatically goes to, right, I'm feeling unsettled within myself. Okay, I'm going backwards. Like, I'm back to where I was. I'm at the starting point. But I've had to like go through that, right, and then come out the other end and be like, right, I've actually just taken 10 steps. Like, I've just walked 10 steps up. I haven't run back down the flight of stairs. I've actually walked 10 up. And it's realizing when you're feeling uncomfortable, you're just growing, because you can't stay comfortable and grow, because yeah, growth is growth. It's going to be uncomfortable, but because you've never been there before, you've never been to that stage of your life, so you're going to be out of your comfort zone. And then when you're there, you're going to be like, oh, I quite like this. But it's just getting there, which is the mentally taxing part. But yeah, so that has been something that's been on my mind a lot this year. And I really just focused this summer on just being in the moment and appreciating where I am, which is tricky for me because I feel like I don't give myself enough credit for what I do, in the sense of like, I feel like I didn't need to necessarily appreciate moments, but I think that's something that almost is one of the most crucial parts, because we can have those amazing moments and be present in them, which is so important. But we need those moments of recognition as well. And I think that's something that's like, I maybe got a bit confused of, because I was like, oh, okay, you can be present in a moment, right? And then, but you don't need to like appreciate them after. And I think it's like you can go back in memories, because I also got scared that I was going backwards because I was reminiscing in memories, if that makes sense. Because I thought, why do I feel the need to focus on good memories? Is my life not good enough now? And I think that's an interesting thing, because it's like you can appreciate old memories, good old memories, and still love your life and where you are now. You're allowed to do that. And you're allowed to look back last year and be like, oh, that was a really good day. That was a really good month. That was a really good hour. And you can still love where you are, because that's just appreciating yourself. Like, as I said, all the moments in your life have got you where you are today. So that moment a year ago, that got you where you are now, and you're allowed to appreciate that, and you're allowed to acknowledge that, and you're allowed to go back there. And I think it is different if you're doing it to escape from where you are now, but it doesn't have to be an escape. And if you're not doing it from a place of that, that is okay. And that's something that's just been something for me, and I think I just need to appreciate that. I think this is also same for negative, not negative, but in our brain, if memories are placed, like if let's say all our memories are boxed up, like they're all in sections, not boxed up, they're all in different houses. So you've got your positive memories, they all live in one house, and you've got your like memories of when you think of them, they make you sad. They're all in their own house. You've got memories that make you feel anxiety when you think of them, etc., etc., etc. And when we go into the sad house, we're like, we do feel sad because they are our memories. They are part of us. But it's okay to go back to them. And I think this has been big on my mind, because I feel like we're going into the autumn months. I feel like summer's over now. Is that fair to say? I think so. I think summer is officially over now. I'm filming this on the 31st of August. And it's just really cloudy, it's windy, it's cold. So I feel like summer's over, which I'm okay about. And basically, last October, it was quite a pivotal change for me. Basically, I used to have a horse. He wasn't my horse, but I saw him every day for 2 years. Very, very long story short, he passed away the day after my birthday. And from then, a lot changed. I had about a month of just like feeling not feeling like nothing, and then I started getting into fitness and all that. And then my life kind of just changed from there. But as we're going in, this is the first year with him gone, like with my horse gone. And I think if you don't have pets, you won't know how it feels. And I don't think, but then obviously if you do have pets, but I feel like pets have always been not, I know like a horse isn't really a pet, but like having animals in your life, like if you don't have animals, I guess you won't know how that feels, and that's so okay. And so it might feel silly for some people listening to this, not knowing how it feels, but like, oh, just get over it, it's a horse, or like it's an animal. But I've grown up with animals. I used to have like 15 animals. I had a rabbit, I had lizards, I had hamsters, I had rats, I had a lot. We have a dog at the moment. So animals I've always felt very emotionally connected to. So I've always been a massive part of my life up until the past year. And basically my birthday's on the 29th of October, and he passed away on the 30th of October. So as we're coming, I know we're not in October yet, but like we're coming into September, and then before we know it, it'll be October. So for me, I'm like reminiscing a lot and like old memories. And they're not necessarily sad, but they're just, I was looking through my camera. Basically, I'm doing a painting workshop tomorrow, and it's like paint your pet, and I've chosen Jack. So I could have done my dog, but I'm choosing Jack, which was my horse that passed away. And I was looking through old pictures, and I was like, oh, these are really cute. And I had to like look, like he had He had his own Instagram account. Um, and I was looking through all the pictures, and like I looked at like the post I made when like he passed away and stuff. And technically that was like a really, those are really sad memories. But then there were also memories with him, like where I'd have picnics with my friend and him, or when I'd take him on hacks, or when like I saw watch sunsets with him and all these things. And it's interesting because I just allowed myself, like I gave myself like, I think it was like an hour just to scroll through them. And I was like kind of at the start of this, I was like, oh Sky, this isn't a good idea. Like, why are you doing this? Like, because I've done that, like, it's a very natural human thing to go back in old memories, but I've never really been like all for it. Like I've never supported myself in these decisions because I was like, oh, you just feel worse after, like you're gonna feel sad. But I think that's just a part of processing, and I think that's a part of grief. And I guess what I'm feeling is like so much has changed in the past year, and it's becoming close up to that year, because it's 10 months at the moment since everything's changed. And I think when we get to that year, it's going to feel more real. So I think going back to those moments, maybe it makes me feel less real because it brings me back to that moment, and it brings me back to when it just started. So if I'm in the current moment, it's like, oh, like we're nearly a year from that moment, that time. So yeah, but when I was looking through the pictures this week, I felt completely okay diving back into those old memories, those old moments, because I didn't feel like I was like disassociating from where I am now. I was just appreciating the old moments, and that might be really easy for some people. That might come really naturally, and that might just be something that you were born with, or something that you've learned to do, or something you've taught yourself. But for me, it's always been something that like I just felt a lot of struggle with. And I also felt like if whenever I had like fun moments, fun days, like in the summer or like winter holiday, like winter, like Christmas time, whatever, I felt like I couldn't look, or like you can have fun. Sorry, can I have fun moments whenever in the year? It just like came to me like summer and like winter holidays, like Christmas and stuff. I feel like we always have fun then. Like I feel like other memories aren't as well appreciated, which is, I don't think that should be true. So other fun moments I've had in the year. I feel like if I look back and then I feel like I take myself into that moment, and I feel like I kind of dissociate from where I am now, and I basically feel like I'm not appreciating where I am currently, which I think I definitely did feel in the past. But I think now I'm so comfortable and confident where I am in my life that I can look back at old memories and not feel like, oh, I wish I was there. And I think that is what I was feeling. I was feeling if I look back at old memories, I wasn't appreciating where I am, and I felt guilty for that because I felt like, oh, I should be appreciating where I am because I've gotten myself to where I am today. And yes, I have gotten myself to where I am today, but I am allowed to reminisce in old times and appreciate where I was then as well. And I think it also came for a thing of like, oh, like I wasn't as nice to myself then, or oh, I didn't like that version of myself. Like in that moment, when I look back at old memories, I'm like, oh, I didn't like myself then. Like I knew what I was saying to myself. Like I knew what my inner monologue was like back then. And I think so much of that as well came up, but I just kind of released everything, and I was like, I am okay where I am now. And in all those old memories, I cannot change a single thing, but I can change my perception of them now. Every single moment in my past has led me to where I am today, and I'm a strong believer in that. And like it does make sense. Like I think there's also like, I think there's two ways to look at it. It's like like the burnt toast theory. It's like, oh, if you burn a piece of toast and you put another one in, like that'll save you from a car crash. Like I saw that a lot on like Instagram, like at the start of the year, whatever. But like I do believe in that. Like I do believe everything happens for a reason, and I do believe there's like a timeline not laid out for us, but I think the life we've created, there's a timeline, and things happen for certain reasons in our life to get us to where we need to be to become the people who are meant to be, or the people that we want to be. So I am a believer in that as well. But yeah, I'm a believer that like, where we are today, like we got ourselves there. And I've just kind of like left those memories, and I'm like, I can fully appreciate who I was there. And I've basically just been like, I can still appreciate these memories without like, I don't need to change a single thing. I don't need to have control of those memories. And I think past traits of myself would be like, think of an old memory, a great memory, and then feel like, oh, that happened, I need to change that. But like, you can't change the past. You can't change a single thing about it except from your perception of it now. And that's a power I think I've learned recently, that you can change your perception of absolutely anything because it's a mindset towards it. And that's something like, that's the most pivotal moment of your life when you realize everything is a mindset. Say you're someone who loves the sunny weather, and as soon as it's cloudy, you go, oh, like, I'm not enjoying it as much. Like, I can't, like, do as much as what I want. Say, like, you love doing things in the sun. That's a mindset thing. You know what I mean? Or say you're someone who, I actually can't think of any. Why can't I think of anything else? I feel like I can't think of any other options at the moment, but it's all a mindset thing. And I think, okay, so let's take this. If you're someone who's a firm believer in that, you are what you're like, I used to be, okay, I used to be a firm believer that I was how my body looked. Like, people's perception of me, how much they liked me, was dictated about how my body looked. That's a mindset. Like, that was my mindset. Now, my new mindset is like, what people think of me is who I am as a person. Like, who I am as a person, that's how people will perceive me. And that's all a mindset thing. Not to say I know how other people perceive me, because I could never get into someone else's head, and that's not something I want to do anymore. But it's all a mindset thing. It's all a mindset switch. An old mindset was, oh, I can't try something new. That's scary. I'm going to be bad at it. And I was like, okay, if I'm bad at it, I'm allowed to be bad at it. But I'm going to have fun doing it. And that is my goal, to have fun doing it, whether I'm bad or not. So it's all a mindset. And I think when you get into that thing of like, it's all perception, it's all a mindset, and it's your perception, and it's your mindset switch, and it's your brain, and they're your memories. And all these things have just kind of like, all the dots have kind of been connected, I guess. And as I'm like talking it through, like, it's making more sense in my head. Anyway, and it's kind of just given me the freedom to like appreciate and acknowledge and work through so many old things, because I've just given myself complete permission not to necessarily go back to where I was or feel that I'm back there. Just literally click onto memory and be like, okay, that was then. This is what happened. But I am now what I am now, and I have the tools around me. I know who I am as a person. I've got the people around me to support me and myself. I'm not going back there, or like, I am not there anymore, or like, I'm nowhere near there, if that makes sense. And I think it's just like, for anyone dealing with grief, anyone dealing with loss, anyone dealing with trauma or whatever in your life, I guess it's just getting to the place which no one can tell you where to get to, except from like, you will naturally get there, as long as that takes. Like, it's gonna be very niche for you. And I guess that is a grief thing, I guess, but I think it's also just a thing of like, I don't know, just my life, like, just anyone's life. You're gonna put emotions to memories, and it's just about maybe going back to old memories and being like, do I basically I had this moment in literally this summer, and it's an absolutely fabulous day, but I said this one thing to someone, and I keep going back to it. This past 2 weeks, I keep going back to that moment. Oh, I wish I said something different. I wish I didn't say that. And I just don't know why. Like, I physically don't know why. Like, I really don't care. And it didn't go badly. Like, it was still an amazing day, the rest of the day I had. But I'm just like, oh, I wish I could change that. I wish I could have control over that. And it's just about like, okay, old me really would care, but I really simply don't care anymore. Like, I know my mind does not care, but there's a part of me somewhere that does, like, care about that. And I guess it's just like, it's interesting to see like what still triggers me, in a sense of like, just because I said that one thing and I felt like, oh, I was being judged. Like, I felt like the person who I said that to, that was going around in their head, which just simply isn't true. Like, no one who has the same self-respect and self-confidence in themselves would play old memories and try and change them, or judge someone for what they said. Like, that just isn't a thing. So I don't think it has to be necessarily associated with like grief or stuff, but I think for me, just going to like, coming up to a time where it is so prominent, like, I know, so like in 2 months, right, I know it would be a year since my horse passed away. So that's a time where I know I'm going to be feeling a lot. And actually, today, 3 years ago, my rabbit who I had for 8 years passed away, which, as I've had a lot of animal deaths, Yeah. So I think processing emotions at a place where we feel like we can just accept them for what they were. Oh my god, my voice. Accept them for what they were and not feeling the need to change them. But we can always change our perception of them. And that is something that I've appreciated this week. And that is something that I feel like I can grow with. And that is something that I feel like is going to be now part of my life. Just learning to accept old memories and realizing the emotions that come with the memories were all in my head, because the emotions that I felt in the memories will create the core memory, because core memories are created with emotions. If we have a memory, if we're in a moment and we aren't present in it, we're not going to have any emotions towards that, because we won't have the connection within ourselves to feel emotions with that memory. But if we have a memory, if we have if we have a if we have an if we have a if we have a memory with an emotion, it would have meant we're present. So the core memory linked with that emotion was how you're feeling. When you think of a memory and you go back to a place and it brings up a couple of emotions, those emotions you were feeling in your head. That was your subconscious speaking to you and maybe not being very kind to you, or maybe it was like it was you being kind to yourself. But you can change your perception of yourself. You can't change your perception of you in that moment, but you can change how you perceive that memory now. And that is something that I've really been appreciating. And I think I've always felt guilty about doing it, because even moments when it was like really like sad memories, I can now change my perception of that memory. So let's just take, actually, I'm gonna take some. Okay, when I found out my horse passed away, Jack, I was like in this bed, I was in my bedroom, and my mum came and told me. That is like a traumatic memory for me, because whenever my mum says my name, like, because my mum doesn't like my mum never says like Sky, you know what I mean? Um, and like she said like Sky, I've got something to tell you. So whenever she says Sky, I've got something to tell you, my brain automatically goes back there, and it sends me into shock, because that was a shock for me. It was completely out of the blue. He wasn't ill or anything. He just literally, I think he had a heart attack. So it was very sudden, very out of the blue. And I saw him every day for 2 whole years, and then it just suddenly left like that. Anyway, and I was just speaking to my mum, and my mum said, "Oh, I've got something to tell you." And I was like, "You like I've spoken to her about this." I was like, "Please, can you like it literally sends me into shock. It sends my body into panic when I just hear that. Like only from my family, because like I know it would be something to do with my family. I feel like someone's died." And I've explained it to her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, like I'm sorry, like I forgot to say that. I forgot about that." Anyway, and it was interesting, and I was just thinking about that a lot that day. And I was like, "Oh God, like that's crazy, that's crazy that like it's coming up to a year since he's passed away." Like, because I was just thinking about my birthday. I don't know why. Oh, because my sister asked me what I wanted for my birthday. That's it. And I was thinking, God, like the day after my birthday he would be gone for a whole year. Anyway, and I was just going back to that memory, and I was like, I can change how I now perceive that memory. Because yes, I did lose like my best friend or whatever, like in that moment of time, but I also gained all the people I've met from where I am today. I've gained so many insane memories, and I've gained so much confidence. I've gained so much love. I've gained so much love for my life since he's passed away. Not saying I wasn't happy where I was, because I really was. That's why I think it hit me so deeply, because I really did love I really did love I really did love where I was in my life. But I've gained so much love for life, and I've gained so many new perspectives. I've met so many incredible people. I've started so many new things. And I now, when I think of that memory of like my mum coming to tell me that my horse has just passed away, I don't necessarily think, oh my God, I don't think loss anymore. I think change, because it was change and it was a loss. But I can't just view it like that, because yes, I did lose something, but I gained so much. And when I think back to it, those two things aren't comparable anymore, because they're both so different. So now when I think of that memory, I remember how I felt, and I remember those emotions that I felt, but I don't take on those emotions when I go back to that memory, because I know that that was how I dealt with it in that moment. But when I perceive it now, I know where I am today, and I know every single moment because whenever I do something big or achieve something in the past like 10 months, I go back to that moment I found out Jack passed, and I was like, that moment got me to where I am today, because I think that's like, it's a coping mechanism. It's like, how else are you meant to, I guess, appreciate something that you didn't really need to happen without doing that? So I'd be like, okay, that moment led me to where I am today. And I subconsciously did that. Like, consciously did that, because I thought, I don't think there's any point having such a traumatic memory in my head take up such negative space, because it's all perspective and it's all mindset. So I can change how I perceive those those moments, and just kind of being like, okay, I did this because that happened. Not saying it's a positive that he passed away, obviously, but just rewiring my brain about it, and basically just saying it's all perspective. And now when I think of certain memories about that, like him passing away, I don't just think, oh my God, life's over. I go, okay, but that got me to where I am today, and that's beautiful. And that's just life. Like, I could go to other moments in my life where, like, I lost friends, or people moved away or whatever, and I'd be like, okay, but that got me where I am today, or that happened because this is the person I'm meant to be, and I feel so comfortable with where I am today. Like, I know that wasn't a mistake, and I know that was a part of my life that was meant to happen, and I had such a joyous time with him, and that does not take away a single moment with him, because I know I had such an amazing time. But I can still appreciate those moments and still appreciate where I am today. I can still appreciate the really sad, traumatic moments, but I can also perceive them slightly different now, because I have the knowledge that things got better. And I also know, when you are in that place where you just got told that bad news, that hearing all this would be like invalidating in a way, because you feel like this is the worst thing that could ever happen to you, because I was there and I've been there many times. But it's just knowing that it always comes back up, and there's always a balance with life, because it can't just sit like there's always balance, and it always has to come back up. Not saying it will go down, but it has to come back up. And when it's up, it does have to go down to come back up again, because otherwise we wouldn't appreciate. Without sadness, we can't appreciate happiness. Without happiness, we can't appreciate sadness, because we can't stay stuck, meaning we can't stay stuck in happiness, and we can't stay stuck in sadness. We always weave in and out of emotions, feelings, memories, stages in our life, phases in our life, and everything like that. And I guess it's just like enjoying the passage of time and appreciating where we are, and just acknowledging that every single moment in our life has a purpose. Every single motion, memory has a purpose, and every single thing that has happened has a purpose for us in one way or another. Yeah, okay, that was a lot. I felt that was a lot. I think that's the end of the episode. I feel like that's all I have to say. I feel like I really scratched out every inch of my brain. I know this is a bit longer, but I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and however you feel, I hope you can appreciate it. And I hope you've made some really lovely memories this week, or today, or this hour, or moment, minute, whatever. I'm sending so, so, so much love, all of you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. And even if you're in the place where it feels like nothing could ever go worse than this, or you feel like it can never get better, everything has a balance. And have faith in that, and have trust in that it has to come back up for you, because if it can go down as far as you think it's gone, it can come as high as you think. Like, you know what I mean? So if you feel like you're at the lowest point in possible human history, it also has to come as high up as possible in human history, if that makes sense. Like, you're going to experience the most amazing moments of your life. And I think that's something I wish that I could have told my younger self, but I know that I had to go through where I was to get to where I am today. And if I maybe had myself tell, oh, you'll be okay, it's going to come back up, maybe I wouldn't be where I am today. But maybe I'm here to tell you that just because if you feel like you're that low, you will eventually feel like you are that high, if that makes sense, because everything has balance, everything has to come back up, and that's a core belief I have. And I think life is what you make of it. Your life is what you make of it. And I think we are creators of our own lives. And if we tell ourselves something, that will be the reality. And if we tell ourselves something positive or negative, that will be the reality. And we are so insanely powerful as people. We have so much creative power of our own lives, and we have to be cautious in aware of it, because otherwise I think we can unconsciously tell ourselves that we're not deserving of it or worthy of it. But we are, and you are stronger. You are stronger than you believe you are, and you will come as high as you think you are low now. And everything has balance, and everything will work its way out, because that is the way of life. And if you look back at any of your old memories, they've all worked themselves out. And if you don't feel like it's worked its way out, it's taught you something, and that thing it taught you has got you where you are today. And if you don't feel like you are where you want to be, maybe this is teaching you, and maybe you're learning what you need to be where you want to be, if that makes sense. Because the person you want to be, that person needs to learn. If you want to be the person who loves themselves, the person who has your dream life, they need to know a lot of stuff to get there. They need to know how to love themselves. They need to know how to take care of themselves. They need to know how to cook for themselves, and they need to know what meals make them feel good. They need to know what types of movement makes themselves feel good. They need to know what types of people make themselves feel good. So think about how much of a journey it's going to take to get to that person, so you're not going backwards. Everything that's happening is happening for you. And maybe when you thought it's all you're falling behind, maybe you're just building something like better to get yourself there. Maybe when you thought you were rejected, you're just being redirected. And maybe when you thought you didn't deserve someone or something, that thing wasn't a good fit for you, or that person wasn't a good fit for you. And everything has balance, and that is something I always remind myself. So I'm sending so much love to every single one of you, and I hope you'll have a lovely rest of your day.